Hey, Matt here. Hey, just finished watching AEW RAGER, and holy shit, it was a fun show. It was. I think that this was one of those things where you wish it was a pay per view, but obviously it's not. It wasn't. And it's unfortunate because a lot of these shows can be on pay per view. Now, Fight for the Fallen is coming out, and it will be on pay per view. But at least we got to see fans again, which is a step up. And I mean, they already started, but there's a lot more people than, you know, I think we've seen in a long time. So we started the night off with QT Marshall and Cody Rhodes in a strap match. This was awesome. I mean, we said that it should be much better than Elias and Gunner, and you know what? It was. It really was. There was a lot of unique moves. Cody did a tope suicida on the QT when he didn't want to get in the ring to start the match. QT using the strap to his advantage. The lights went out for a second and came back on. And then, of course, you have Cody try to tap the turnbuckles, which I forgot those were the rules. Then you have QT do it, but as he was doing it, you got Cody doing that at the same time. So, anyways, yeah, it ended up that Cody hit the turnbuckles, all four of them, to win the match. And yeah, we'll see what happens later on during the night. But you have the contract signing of Chris Jericho and MJF. That was cool. And I mean, you look at it this way, it's like, again, having these fans back to sing Judas Kiss or Judas was pretty cool. And I mean, you have somebody shout out Y2J. Of course, Jericho corrected whoever it was, saying that Y2J is dead. A lot of great fan interaction. But it appears that MJF wants Chris Jericho to beat the members of Pinnacle before getting in on a one-on-one with him and Chris Jericho. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. You also had the interview with Kenny Kilmister, or Kenny Omega, coming out and talking about his next opponent for the title. In comes Evil Uno, and of course, the Dark Order alongside with him. And you have them going back and forth, and Kenny with that joke of, what's the capital of Thailand? And of course, kicks Evil Uno in the balls before he can answer. So, I mean, and then, of course, you got cowboy shit, Adam Page coming out, of course, and they're face to face talking and whatever. And then, of course, the rest of Kenny's Bullet Club comes in to try to take out Adam Page, but it looks like it's going to be Adam Page and Kenny Omega for the title. So, I mean, that's cool because it's one of those things where they have a lot of history, dating back to Japan, dating back to Ring of Honor, I'm sure, and then, of course, AEW. So, this will be cool to see what happens. It really will. And I'm looking forward to it. Had Wardlow and FTR defeating the inner circle of Jake Hager, Santana, and Ortiz. I mean, this match was cool. It was kind of interesting to see that Wardlow got one over on Jake Hager, but they had a very good match, and honestly, it was interesting to see the Pinnacle go over, but I mean, we'll see what happens in the future. Obviously, it's a good feud, and of course, earlier in the night, you have Sammy Guevara throwing their chair at Sean Spears as Sean delivers a promo about like, being the chairman of the board, so to speak, and getting his hands on Sammy Guevara. But yeah, this whole Pinnacle Inner Circle thing is actually pretty cool, so I can't wait to see what else they have. They have the AEW debut of Andrade and Hikuleo, and he takes Matt Sydal. This was a good match. I mean, these two are very good high flyers, taking that to the advantage. I mean, you have Andrade do a lot of knees, also, like, very inventive as well. And I think that's one of the best things I've seen from him. I don't remember using a lot of those moves in WWE, but this was still a good match. And Andrade obviously went over. So it may continue the feud, but I am not quite sure how that's going to work out in the future. Hopefully they will have some more matches. So you have this was interesting. You've had Tony Schiavone coming out and bringing out Arn Anderson, talking about his son, Brock, and just as Arn gets into it, the lights go out, just as it did in the beginning of the night, and you have the debut of Tommy End, aka Aleister Black, and now he's known as Malachi Black. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, I know that watching Renee's podcast, he had Tommy End talking about WWE and stuff and his time there, so, you know, making his debut in AEW, we'll see how that goes, and I hope it goes well. I really do. I mean, Aleister Black had a great NXT run, and unfortunately his WWE run was the shits, so hopefully we'll get to see what happens in AEW, and it's kind of pleading that it's going to be a good run, and hopefully he can manage to get the TNT or in the future the AEW title. So he gets into the ring, he hits Arn Anderson with a black mass, then of course Cody comes out and he gets a black mass for his troubles. So I mean, it made sense only because Cody and Arn are basically the take team, or well, friends, and Arn's his manager, so we'll see what happens next week, I guess. You know, Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy, who actually defeated the Bunny and the Blade. This was a good match too, and I think that you had the starting of Orange Cassidy and Alley in the ring, and Cassidy putting his hands in his pocket. You had Alley try to slap him, but Orange got away, ducked, and yeah, this was good. You know, you have Braxton try to use the brass knucks, but the referee caught it, and they eventually did use it on Orange Cassidy, and the unfortunate part was it wasn't taken. Chris Statlander ended up pinning Alley for the win, and yeah, this was a good match. I know that I think of Orange Cassidy as somebody that probably will never get the title, but I can't deny that he is one of the best wrestlers in AEW right now. when it comes to charisma and a unique style. So, that, I mean, that's still interesting. Now, in the beginning of the night, you had American Top Team in the audience for some reason. I don't know why. And yeah, it was weird. You have Dan Lambert with Amanda Nunes and Jorge Masvidal, and during this time, Dan Lambert gets into the ring, starts running down AEW, and fucking talks about the good old days of Florida Championship Wrestling, and I thought that was pretty cool, mentioning a lot of names and stuff, so, and then saying how much wrestling sucks now. Then you have Lance Archer come out and beat the shit out of Dan Lambert and giving him a blackout. And yeah, that segment pretty much ended there, so I'm not sure. I mean, this is the second time that Dan Lambert's been in the ring for AEW, so I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. I mean, that's going to be interesting to see what happens. But it was an interesting segment. I just want to see more of what's going to happen. And, you know, it's like another outsider coming in and talking smack about wrestling in general. So, and yeah, he's an old school wrestling fan. I get that. And that's very cool. But I want to see more of what he's going to do in AEW. The main event was Young Bucks versus Eddie Kingston and Zero MIRO. And of course you have Stooge try to use his spray early on, and that didn't work. Obviously you have Matt Jackson holding Penta, and of course Penta ducks. Matt gets it. Everything was used. You have the tables, you have chairs, you have fucking thumbtacks. That was fucking cool. You know? And I mean, the referee got knocked out. So I mean, thumbtacks. You had them try to get one of the Young Bucks in there, but you have Penta getting tossed into the thumbtacks. And I believe Matt or Nick got them as well, but then they ended up getting the win. They put the thumbtacks in Eddie's mouth and did the super kick. And yeah, for the win, they are still the tag team champions. And of course, to even up the odds, because you have the Stooge, actually, fucking can't remember his name. But anyways, Frankie Kazarian comes out and kicks his ass. And yeah, this was a good match by far. This was a good show. And you have next week with Fyter Fest. Then you have a match already with Jon Moxley putting the IWGP United States Championship on the line against Machine Gun Carl Anderson, which I think is going to be awesome. And I can't wait to talk about that. Wheels of Fury with Killer Kyle. So, anyways, I will talk to you later. And obviously didn't watch NXT Great American Bash just yet. So, look forward to that review. Anyways, talk to you later. Bye.
So you know that them cutting WCW was a long time coming. But, I think that there's this myth out there that Jamie Keller that's why he took pleasure in cutting WCW. I don't think that's the case at all. Because if you look at some of his earlier interviews,